You want osmosis, right?
Yeah, what is osmosis?
Ma'am, if a semi-permeable membrane is placed between a solvent and the solution, ma'am, the solvent molecules will flow through the semi-permeable membrane towards the solution.
Yeah, and this movement
This flow,
of yeah.
this flow is called osmosis from the solvent to the solution.
I'm sorry to interrupt, ma'am. You only started osmotic pressure yesterday, right?
Yeah, I just started osmotic pressure. We just discussed what is osmosis and what is osmotic pressure.
Osmotic pressure.
And we just wrote the basic equation. Thank you.
Surya, your mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike is making some noise. Okay, fine. So that is what osmosis, that is the flow of solvent molecule through a semi-permeable membrane from a solvent area to the solution is what called osmotic pressure. Okay, now, sorry, that is what called osmosis. Then what is osmotic pressure? Yes, Abhishek, what is osmotic pressure? Hmm. To stop osmosis. That means the pressure that should be applied on a solution to stop the process of osmosis is called osmotic pressure. And this is the fourth and the final colligative property. So you can see that osmotic pressure depends on the concentration of the solute. And here the major difference is that we use molarity in place of molality. In the other two colligative properties, we use molality. Here we used molarity to express the concentration. So the equation for the osmotic pressure is pi is equal to CRT, where C is concentration in molarity, R is the gas constant, and T is temperature in Kelvin. I think this was the points we discussed in osmotic pressure. Yeah? Yes. Okay. So let's continue the osmotic pressure discussion. So we know that pi is equal to CRT, where we use concentration as molarity. And what is the equation to calculate the molarity, or how you will define molarity?
Number of moles of solute by liters of solution.
Number of moles of solute, that is N2, divided by volume of the solution, the total volume of solution in liters, right? And we know that number of moles are calculated mass, that is W2, divided, that weight divided by molar mass of the solute, M2. So your equation pi will be equal to I'm unable to write on the screen. Suddenly it got stuck. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Okay, pi is equal to W2 RT divided by M2 into V. So this is the final equation after putting all the expansions. And you can rearrange this equation in terms of M2, that is the molecular mass calculation, because we told already, we discussed already the previous colligative property. Rather than to measure the colligative property, we use this method as a method of calculating the molar mass of a solute. So M2 calculation is equally important like calculation of the colligative property. So here osmotic pressure, we express concentration in terms of molarity, that is the first difference. And molarity mean number of moles of solute by volume of the solution in liter. And number of moles is calculated mass by molar mass. And the number 2 is for solute, that's why we write 2 number, that is for solute. So you will get the final equation, osmotic pressure pi is equal to W2 RT divided by M2V. Or if you rearrange the equation, you will get the equation for the calculation of molar mass of solute M2, that is W2 RT by pi V. Unlike the other method like depression and freezing point or elevation and boiling point, osmotic pressure is very, very important in measuring or in calculating the molecular masses of polymers or macromolecules. What is the advantage of this method, osmotic pressure method, over other colligative method? That is a major difference. Here we use molarity, in others we were using molality. The other reason. So this is one of the board exam question. What is the advantage of osmotic pressure method in determining the molecular masses of proteins, polymers and other macromolecules, biomolecules, like they are heavy. So for such to deal with such kind of particles as a solute, we basically use osmotic pressure rather than depression freezing point or elevation and boiling point. We use osmotic pressure to calculate their molar mass. And the reason being, as the summary, like you can write it like first reason, molarity is used instead of molality. That is the main difference between osmotic pressure method and other colligative properties like delta TB or delta TF using. This is more important because here we are using molarity instead of molality. But for macromolecules, for the polymers, the advantage is that when you compare the other colligative property, here the magnitude is large enough for very dilute solution. Say example, we discussed that when you are adding a little amount of solute to the water, boiling point of the water increases, freezing point of the water decreases. But the problem is that when the concentration of the solute is very less, what happens is like the increase in the boiling point or decrease in the freezing point is very small. So accurately you cannot measure because the change is very small for a small concentration. So when you are using very less quantity of the solute, delta TB or delta TF calculation is accuracy is a problem because the change is very less. So if your water boils as 100 degrees Celsius and water is boiling now, after the adding solute it is 100.13 degrees Celsius. The change is very small for a small addition of solute. But for osmotic pressure, even if the concentration is very less, the value is big enough so that you can accurately measure the molar masses. So that is a major reason why we use osmotic pressure method over the other two methods, because the magnitude of osmotic pressure or magnitude you are calculating using this method is large even for very dilute solution. So delta TB change in boiling point or change in freezing point will be there. That is true only, that concept, the theory is correct, but the problem is that for a very small addition of solute, that change is so small that it is very difficult to accurately find the change, or it's a negligibly small change. But for osmotic pressure, the magnitude of osmotic pressure or the molar mass what you're calculating is large enough even for the very dilute solution. See, colligative property mean these are the properties which depends on the concentration of the solute. So if you have a different solution, there are some other property which does not depend how much solute is added. So if you look into the solution, these four colligative properties are there: lowering vapor pressure, elevation, boiling point, depression, freezing point, and osmotic pressure. These are all properties that which is directly related to the concentration of the solute. So that means you can study about a solute by analyzing these properties. That is why we say using colligative property, it's easy to determine the molar mass of the solute. So if you are given an unknown sample, you got a white powder, you don't know what is its identity. So if you want to find the molar mass, you will first find take a glass of water, a boiling point, you will check the boiling point, and after adding the solute a non-volume amount, you will again find the boiling point. So you can see that the boiling point is increasing when you add a solute. So that using the change in boiling point, you can find the molar mass using M2. So that means for an unknown identity, you are calculating its molecular mass using this method. So in the laboratories and all, they do this method to calculate the molar mass. So, but the problem of compared to other two methods, osmotic pressure is more easy because here the magnitude is very large enough to measure accurately even for the concentration is very low. So that is the main advantage of osmotic pressure method, that the magnitude is large enough even for the very dilute solution.
This is only for osmotic pressure, right, compared to the other colligative properties.
Yeah.
Ma'am, in
Because
exam,
that
will they ask us, ma'am, like which colligative property has a magnitude which is large even for very
the
dilute
question
solution?
asked in the board exam was like this: the determination of molar masses of proteins, biomolecules, and macromolecule. That means big molecules. They use osmotic pressure over the other method. So you have to
So is it?
explain. So actually,
Oh,
that
ma'am.
answer can.
Ma'am, so the
Sorry,
answer is its magnitude is large even for a very dilute
it's not
solution.
complete. I have some more points to add because
Ma'am,
we
so
know that.
basically, they can ask a question related to this.
Yeah, they can. They can ask related to anything. So here main point is that biomolecules, proteins, basically proteins or biomolecule, they work inside a living system. So they got an optimum temperature to work. Especially you take protein, and if you're heating protein, what happen? It will undergo. What will happen to protein if you're heating? Hmm. You have a protein inside your body, but if you kept it outside at a high temperature, will it work? The catalyst is a protein. Catalysts are made of proteins. So proteins will undergo denaturation, right? That means it will get spoiled. It will break the bonds, the peptide bonds and all. But we know that in the calculation elevation of boiling point method, you have to literally heat a substance. So you take salt adding to the water. Even if you're heating, there is nothing happening to the salt. But if you have got a biomolecule, example protein, these biomolecules are set to a particular temperature, optimum temperature. They don't work in all temperature. So if you're doing an elevation boiling point method, then you have to heat it. When you're heating, these proteins will get despoiled, denatured. So that is the main reason you can't use the other method. For biomolecules, you cannot use depression freezing point or elevation and boiling point method because you need to heat or cool a solution. Cooling means that again the problem, these substances or the polymers are less soluble in at a very low temperature. So again it will affect the measurement. That is why we are using osmotic pressure method, because you are not heating or cooling, you are just keeping one temperature as a constant and measuring the osmotic pressure and hence the molar mass. So that is the main reason why osmotic pressure method is used over the other method for the calculation of molar masses of proteins and polymers and other macromolecule, because biomolecules generally are not stable at high temperature. They don't work properly at higher temperature because they got a set with the optimum temperature. They will work only in a particular temperature. And for in the case of polymers, they have poor solubility. So if you're decreasing the temperature and all, again the solubility will be a problem. So delta TB measurement or delta TF measurement won't be accurate for biomolecules and polymers. That is why for these kind of molecules, we basically go for osmotic pressure method. So this is what you will basically write in your answer. For biomolecule will not work in high temperature and the solubility is very less for the polymers. Due to this reason, for these kind of molecule, we use osmotic pressure method for the calculation of molar mass. And so this is basically this point and the first point, the magnitude. These 2 points should be written for 2 marks. First one, biomolecules are not stable at high temperature and the solubility of polymers is very low or very less than normal condition. Second reason, the magnitude of measured in osmotic pressure is more accurate than the changes you can calculate in delta TB or delta TF calculation. So the last point is just the modification of the point we discussed earlier. As you can see, this is the best method for determining molecular masses of polymers, because the observed value of any other colligative property is too small to be measured with reasonable accuracy. So accuracy in the measurement is more because the magnitude is more in osmotic pressure calculation. So no need to write all these points, just extract the important one. So the first point to be noted, molarity is used instead of molality. That is an important point. Second thing, magnitude is large even for very dilute solution. Third reason point, for biomolecules and polymers, temperature is a problem because biomolecules will not work properly at high temperature, and the solubility of polymers also affected because of the temperature. So, and in terms of accuracy in measurement, like for polymers and all, it's basically easy to measure more accurately using osmotic pressure method than other method. Because we have seen in the question that yesterday what we did, you can see that the change is only 2 degrees Celsius or 3 degrees Celsius. 0.88 Kelvin was one change in freezing point. So that change is so small that it's very difficult to measure accurately. But for osmotic pressure, it's very easy to calculate. Even if for a very dilute solution, less amount of solute, still the magnitude will be large enough to calculate or measure accurately. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I change the slide? Yeah. Okay, so we'll move to the next, continue with the next topic. Inside the cell, we know that osmosis happens inside our body, inside our cell. So we got different name in the showing the direction of the movement of the water molecule. So if it is happens from solvent is moving from the cell outward direction, that is called exosmosis, that is exit, moving out of the cell. And if it is happening inward the cell, water is moving, the solvent, water molecule is moving towards the cell, to a cell through the semi-permeable membrane, then it is endosmosis, that is entering or inside. Exosmosis mean it is a movement of water molecule from cell towards outward direction through the cell membrane, that is semi-permeable membrane. The cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane, so osmosis happens in both the direction. So from cell, it can move out, and from outside area, it can come inside. So endosmosis and exosmosis. So here basically the movement of water is happening. When you take a chemical system, it could be different solvent. Not only water, you can have alcohol and different solvents are possible. But inside the cell, you know that solvent is water. Basically in our body, the solvent is water. So here it is basically the movement of water is taking place inside and outside the cell. That is based on our situation. If you are hydrated, if you are dehydrated, this movement is happening. So there will be a hydrostatic pressure developed on the solution, which just prevents the osmosis of pure solvent into the solution through a semi-permeable membrane is called osmotic pressure. So that's what we already defined yesterday in the class, what is osmotic pressure. But if it is because of the water movement, that is what is called hydrostatic pressure. If the solvent is water, basically it is hydrostatic pressure. Otherwise also what we defined last class also is correct. The pressure that required just to stop the movement of particle or just to stop the osmosis is called osmotic pressure. This is another way of defining it, especially when in terms of related to the movement of water in cell. So no need to rewrite the definition, but just write what is exosmosis and endosmosis. That will be fine.
Ma'am, so if they say hydrostatic pressure, that's for water only.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But if you take it generally, if you want to define osmotic pressure, then it is just the pressure that you need to apply on a solution to stop the movement of a solvent molecule.
Ma'am, I had a
That is to
doubt of
stop.
yesterday's class, ma'am. Ma'am, by CRT, ma'am, and ma'am, the ideal gas constant, ma'am, that is like it'll keep changing or there's one constant value?
Ideal gas constant, it's a constant that you already learned in grade 11, no?
What is the
It will
constant?
change only with the units. The value will be fixed. So if you are
Ma'am, will they
using
give it to us?
8, yeah, 8. So, but I've told you to learn it. Two thing at least you have to learn. Anyway, when we'll do the numerical at that time, you'll understand which unit you have to use. Okay. Question is coming like after this. Okay. Now the next topic related to osmotic pressure. So based on the osmotic pressure, you can calculate or divide the solutions into three different categories: isotonic solution, hypertonic solution, and hypotonic solution. So from the name itself, it's very clear, and you can say define very clearly. Isotonic solution iso means same, tonic means same osmotic pressure. So if you have two different solutions of same osmotic pressure, two solutions are called isotonic if they exert the same osmotic pressure. So if the osmotic pressure is same for two different solutions, then we call it as isotonic solution. And example is given here. 0.91 percentage solution of pure sodium chloride. If you prepare 0.91 percentage of sodium chloride, then its osmotic pressure will be same like human RBCs. So if you have these two solutions, 0.91 percentage of NaCl and RBCs kept together, then there is not be any movement because the osmotic pressure is same. So such kind of solutions with same osmotic pressure is called isotonic solution. So basically iso means same, tonic in the sense here what they meant is same osmotic pressure. Okay, similarly you have two more type other than the isotonic. Next one is hypertonic solution. Again, here also you can see from the word hypertonic mean what? More than, like hyper is more. So here hypertonic solution mean a solution where it has got more osmotic pressure than the solution from which it is separated by a semi-permeable membrane. So if you have two solution separated by a semi-permeable membrane and both the solution has got same pressure, then it is isotonic. If one solution has got more osmotic pressure, then it is hypertonic. A solution is called hypertonic if its osmotic pressure is higher than that of the solution from which it is separated by a semi-permeable membrane. So that's why an example is given. When a plant cell is placed in hypertonic solution, the fluid from the plant cell comes out and cell shrinks. This is called plasmolysis. That is when same thing happen when you put raw mangoes in brine, saline water. From that mangoes or whatever, you're putting in a saline water, that from that fruit, the water is coming out. Because outside the concentration is more. High concentration of NaCl. That is what brine is, a concentrated sodium chloride solution. That was the one way of preserving the different types of vegetables and fruits in all the time, like to keep it in brine. Hypertonic solution is always paired with the hypotonic solution. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you explain
Yes,
the
yes.
definition again?
Hypertonic. Hyper mean one of the solution with more osmotic pressure than the other one. Solution is called, if you want to call a solution as hypertonic, it means its osmotic pressure is higher than the solution from which it is separated by a semi-permeable membrane. That means you got two compartments separated by semi-permeable membrane and you have two different solution. If the solution
Now let's see. So one of the solution will have like more percentage, right?
Yeah.
So it's hypertonic. So automatically the other one will be hypo.
It will become hypo. But here, as we are defining one by one with an example, here you can see that if the osmotic pressure is more for one of the solution, then that solution is termed as hypertonic and the other one will become automatically hypotonic, one with less osmotic pressure. So here you can see that an example is given is like when you put plant cell in a NaCl 0.91 percentage of NaCl solution. So that is a hypertonic solution. This is hypertonic. So what happened? Water will move from cell to outward direction because hypertonic solution. And so what happens is like the cell, the plant cell or whatever the cell you have taken will shrink because it is movement of water from the cell to the outward direction. Thought we'll finish it today, no problem, we'll continue. Hypertonic and reverse osmosis, then we have one numericals based on osmotic pressure. Then last is colligative.
Now, when will you upload these notes to people?
I'll try to upload today itself so that you
Thank
can, during the weekend time, you can complete them.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, before that, all those are opted for blended learning. Please make sure that you bring your lab code whenever you have a practical classes. Without the lab code, you won't be able to enter the lab and that will be a problem because simply coming to the school and sitting in the class won't be nice. So all those are opted for blended learning. Full sleeve lab coat. Don't get the half sleeve one if you're not. No, here we don't give because now the problem of safety and all this one is there. No, before all they used to give, but now they don't. They stopped. So that's the problem. If you're coming without the lab coat, you're wasting the time here. You can't do anything because that's the safety problem. And secondly, always bring extra gloves and masks because when you're coming to the lab, always use the what you can disposable kind so that after the lab you can immediately remove both mask and gloves. And so always have extra with you. And one more thing is there for chemistry, we are starting salt analysis. So last year we have uploaded the what you can say, the scheme of analysis. So take the hard copy again. Otherwise, you can bring it in your device and do it, but it's always better you have a hard copy. You don't have to every time look into the screen and again because again touching with your hands with the chemicals you are touching your device again that will be a
Ma'am,
problem.
how many
Yes,
from our class are blended? You know, any idea?
I think 14 so far. Girijam was telling that like there are 14 students opted.
Oh, so that's like almost full